Hello and welcome to today's EMS Leadership Academy Q&A. I'm Lisa Geritzi and I'm here with Robbie McHugh, and we are the co-founders of the EMS Leadership Academy.
And for those of you that don't know, we help EMS leaders bring out the best in themselves and others.
And today's question is, how can I come across more positively when I'm communicating? And I think that that is a terrific question. And I think there's some misconceptions around positivity that we kind of need to address first, because you have to ask yourself, why do you want to be more positive? I know that may sound like a weird question, but, you know, because we're so inundated with these concepts about positive, you got to be positive, you can't be negative. But if being positive is a means to an end, it feels manipulative to the people that you're communicating with. Don't want to put frosting on dog food. That's just not effective, and that's my, and I know, Robbie, you agree with me, but I don't want to speak for you. It's my take on what being positive for the sake of being positive. If it's seen as a means to an end, rather than actually thinking in terms of, what is it you want to say? Do you genuinely want to be more positive, or are you trying to, make some thing you want to communicate more palatable? Like you're trying to motivate people by being positive, which isn't really effective.
And Lisa, I think you said it perfectly there. Often we get a lot of pushback when we're delivering our training in person from leaders. Oh, so what you're saying is you just want me to be more positive, and that's not what we're saying.
Not even a little.
A lot of this, I think, comes down to authenticity as well. And are you being authentic as a leader in who you are being as a leader? And as a leader, we can become more self-aware, I think, of our own internal state of mind when we're communicating. For example, if you find yourself in a revved up or stressed state of mind, your communication will come across that way. And if you're in a more neutral or more peaceful state of mind, your communication is going to come across more caring and more positive. So I think the bottom line is state of mind matters.
Yeah. And it's easier to get into a peaceful state of mind than most people know. I mean, we talk a lot about that in our trainings, but just a, tiny little sort of hint here is to notice that your state of mind is changing all the time. We tend to think that we're in a state of mind, stressed or whatever, but really state of mind changes very on its own. So if you just start to notice that your state of mind changes, you can, when you notice that you're in a more peaceful state of mind or a freer state of mind, that might be a good time to write an email, versus when you're feeling like, oh, I got to get this email out, right? Or I gotta talk to Joe about something and I only have a minute, don't do that. Talk to Joe when you have time, or don't talk to him, because it's not going to come across positive. It's going to come across rushed, and you're not respecting whatever it is you have to communicate. You're not giving time for Joe's response, right? So, or whoever's response.
I think too, if you could maybe touch on the who you are being, because I feel like state of mind is very much linked to the phrase who you are being. And if people haven't heard that phrase before, I know you've usually got a really great example of who you're being in the moment that may clarify that for people.
Yeah, it's like when you ask someone how you're doing and they go, fine, yeah. I'm fine. It's like, are you? No, I don't think you are. It's like what we say, and in the background is not the same. It's when those two things don't line up, people pay attention to not what you're saying, but who you're being. And so you can try to communicate, even I love you, but if you're saying it as you're rushing out the door, or you're just saying it to get somebody off your back, it doesn't communicate. Well, I said I loved you. Yeah. Well, then no, that's not the same. So again, what we're suggesting to people is they pay attention. They look at their own way of being, or another way of saying it is your state of mind, because your state of mind will always override what words are coming out of your mouth all the time. And, the other piece of this that could take a whole nother video is, what are you focusing on when you communicate with people? If you're always focusing on what's wrong, it's going to come across as negative. It can't help it. But if you at least some of the time focus on what's working, you communicate with people when they've done a great job, when you communicate with people when they've fulfilled your expectations, and appreciate people for that, then that will bolster the relationship that you have with them. And so you won't be seen as negative all the time because you're also focusing on things that are working.
Absolutely. And we cover part of that in our online mini communication course. So we've had hundreds of people take this and say that it's changed them both, not just professionally, but personally, because our professional lives tend to bleed over to our personal lives. And the tools people have picked up from this online training really have made a difference in both. So we'd invite people to sign on and take that course. We put the content out over about a week, and it's about 3 or 4 modules with some activities that people have said they've had a great transformation with. So,
and we purposefully made it so that it can be done pretty succinctly, like you said. So it's not like this, module after module thing. It's a brief course, but we took the really salient points of our work and put it in there, and it's really made, like you said, it made a difference for a lot of people.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this session of our weekly Q&A. If you have a question, you can send us an email, support@emsleadershipacademy.com. We'd love to get your questions, or you can leave us a voicemail, 888-330-8288. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.